Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, delegates from 44 allied and associate countries arrived for the opening of the United Nations Monetary and Financial Conference.
Can history repeat itself as the modern world's finance ministers head for Washington? Will they have to design a new world financial order, a new Bretton Woods?
This weekend, the finance ministers from the most powerful nations in the world meet. Over the last 10 days, we've seen bear markets hit every stock exchange throughout the world. We've had 20% falls right across the board, 10% days. We've had violent swings. The reality is this is very similar to 1929. I'm going to bring up a chart right now so you can see 1929 and what happened. Because I think a lot of people think it happened like in one day. It didn't. It happened over 2.5 years. Okay, I don't know how well you can see this chart. I've brought it up on my computer and what I want you to focus on is this drop here. What you see is that you have a 40%, almost 50% decline in the Dow back in 1929, and that took place in a relatively short period of time, a couple of months. And then what you see is that the Dow upticks back up another 20 to 30%, almost half a retracement of where it fell from. Now, you'll then see that it wasn't an ongoing chart upwards. It then went back down, hit a similar low before it bounced again, excuse me, where it actually found some support. Then all of a sudden started to tick back down again, and it took almost 2.5 years for the Dow to hit its low in 1932. And then there was a slow recovery, as you can see, all the way through, but I don't know if you'll be able to see this. It basically took now. For me, I think we need to move on, and that's what I'm going to do on this channel. We're going to change from looking at the financials and looking at just preparedness, because they're two areas that I guess I've looked at, and most of the time, looking more at preparedness and showing a bit of what's going on in the financial markets. In my first video in March, I put a little hyperlink up on the site of a newsletter that I do, saying that I thought the Dow would touch around the 8,000 mark. Today, the future's indicating 8,200. I don't know where it goes from there, because that's a 25-year chart. Could easily break through the 8,000 mark, easily soar up over the 11,000 mark. There's so much manipulation it becomes impossible to say. What I would say is trade carefully if you do trade, but more importantly, get yourself some skills that enable you to survive in the real economy. Now we need to actually take back some of the control that is trying to be put upon us. Have a look at what the BBC put out last night.
So what price a new Bretton Woods, the financial architecture of the 21st century, demanded by the head of the IMF? Agreement won't be easy, but he claims it's essential.
Message one is coordination. No domestic solution. No way to find a national solution. Message one is coordination. No domestic solution. No
Yes, but the Icelandic government was absolutely furious that you used crime and security legislation, effectively anti-terror legislation, to freeze their assets.
The reality is that the last depression ended in World War, and it ended with prosperity for some, but most of the time death and poverty for others. It took 25 years, 1952, 23 years to be exact, for the housing market to recover to where it was in 1929. People, the change is right upon our doorstep, and now is the opportunity for you and for I to stand up for what we believe in. I know there are a lot of people out there that believe this is conspiracy based. I know there's a lot of people out there that believe this is spiritually and cosmologically based. I know there are a lot of people out there that believe it's just coincidence and in history. It doesn't really matter what you believe. What matters is that you're living in these days where change is afoot. And similar to a fire that sweeps through a forest, the ground is bare, and all of the seeds in the ground are going to shoot for the sky to create a new canopy. Now the question is which one succeeds? Now I believe in the power of the human race. I believe that we have an opportunity and we stand on the cusp of history to bring around great change. And I believe that we have a chance to get rid of this terrible interest-sparing system, credit system, which will kill us if we allow people to carry on in it. We need to stop thinking about self, and we need to think about everybody. That's actually a spiritual call. It's also a humanity call. It's also the right thing to do. You know, we've seen what happens due to money. War, famine, depression, disease. We've seen what happens if we allow a few to control the many. Now, if we do not stop or put forward our own ideas, then we will be to blame for the changes that will take place over the next decades or so. We stand on that cusp of history, and I want to move my channel away from looking at what the financial markets might do. It's clear they're depressionary, it's clear that the financial system is crashing upon itself, and it's clear a new system will win. The question is, what system? Is it a system that's best for you, and best for me, and best for the world? Or is it a system that's best for a small minority which allows profit for some and poverty for others? We have to change the mindset, and the only way to change the mindset is one person at a time. You must speak to another person. You must stand up for your beliefs. I know a lot of you believe it's not worth voting. I don't take that for you. It is worth voting because you can stand and you can be the one that makes a difference in your locality. And if you tell someone in another locality, they can be the one that makes a difference in their locality. Now, the human race, through its thousands of years of history, has had situations where change only comes about due to bad times. We're in bad times and change is going to come about. The question is, what kind of change? My challenge now is to move us forward, to actually group together with ideas that benefit humanity. So I'm going to change this channel to the ideas of moving forward and thinking. Of course we'll reflect back into financial markets in preparation for bad times, but that's been something we've been warning about. It's been something that people have been aware about now for a while. Now we need to come up with solutions. Let's remember that it doesn't really matter what's going on a wider scale. All you can do is make a difference in your locality. If there's enough of us, we'll bring around great change, and I really believe in that change. I don't think I'm deluded. For all of you people that say that things can't change, I think you're deluded if you believe that things don't change. How you believe and what you believe in is down to yourself. As I say, I have my own spiritual views. I believe that we have the opportunity. It doesn't mean we'll take it. And I don't think we should be trying to bring about cosmological events, okay, and trying to prove we're right. I just think we should make a difference now and try and stop things from happening before the trees, the new canopies have got up and we're living in a completely different world where we won't have a chance to change it again until devastation moves through again. The world's going through crisis, people. It's a privilege to live in this time. It's also your opportunity, and I think your duty, to try to bring around change for the best of humanity. Take care, look after yourself. If you do play these markets, be careful. Make sure you're prepared as best as possible. Have the right education that helps people through hard times. Make sure you've got enough food. Make sure you understand growing, building, etc. Language so you communicate. Make sure that you don't depend always on electricity and the internet. Make sure that you have a wide circle of friends. Love to hear from you out there with your ideas. I really want to change this channel to that. And may God bless you all in your lives. Take care.